So in this video, I want to talk about how we're going to take a shape that we either created with the shape tool or with the pen tool, and how we can move it around, resize it, and then rotate it. So apply some basic transformations to it. So whether you have a shape that is open, closed, freestyled, whatever you have, there are different ways that we can transform it in our workspace. To move it, there are three different ways of moving it. You can do a quick move using your mouse or touchpad. So you just grab the whole shape. So I'm in pointer, right? My cursor is black, and then I just move it around my workspace. Another way you can do it is with the keyboard keys. If you're doing something like a little small little shift, you can use your keyboard arrows to go up and down, left and right. And lastly, if you know like a precise coordinate on your workspace that you want to move your shape to, you can change the position. So remember that we're working in inches. So if x is 1.2, that means that it's x at 1.2 inches, and then y is the height. So if I move this up or down, notice that it's changing only the y. Good thing to know, if I press shift, let's say that I want to keep this at the same X position at 1.2, but I want to move it up and down along Y. I click on my shape, I press shift, and then I slide it up and down, and it's constrained once I move it in this direction. So I'm pressing down on shift. Same thing, let's say I want to keep it at, I'm going to change that Y to 1. And then I want to move it around along the X axis. So I press down on shift and then I move it to the side, and it should keep Y at 1 inch. Okay, so remember, shift is what we use when we want to make any orthogonal changes. And I can go down 45 degrees, and so on. So that's pretty much it from moving. Then we're going to go look at how to resize something. So if I want to resize my whole shape, my whole object, there are, again, 2 to 3 ways of doing this. So I'm always selecting the whole shape. I'm in pointer. I'm not sub-selecting. I'm selecting my whole shape, so I'm in pointer. And if I want to say make it a little bit wider, once I select my shape, I have this box with these circles around it. I can just move a circle in any direction that I want to resize it. But that kind of like distorts and deforms it. If I want to keep my shape in the exact proportions as it is, and I just want to make it bigger or smaller, again, I press down on shift, and then I grab the corner, and I either make it bigger or smaller, and it's keeping the same proportion. So it's scaling it up or down all of my points together. Okay? And another way I can do this is over here on the panel where it says size. So I can change my width and my height of my shape or object. And keeping ratio, this little icon is the same thing as using the shift button. So if I have my ratio kept and I change my width to, let's say, 4 inches, and I press enter, height is going to become bigger or smaller in proportion to what I just changed. If I unselect that, I keep my width at 4 and I change my height to, let's say, 2, then it's not constrained anymore and it distorted or deformed my object. So if you want something to keep its proportion, you either keep the ratio or you use the shift and the corner button here to change the shape. If you don't care about the constraints and you want to deform it, make it skinnier, taller, whatever, then you unselect that, okay? Or you toggle this here. And then last thing, The last transformation I want to show you is how to rotate. So I can select my whole object. This white dot here is for rotation. So I can do a freestyle rotation like that. If I want to keep it along 45, 90, 180, or 0-degree angles, then I press down Shift and then I drag it. Okay, so it's keeping a constraint of a few degrees. Otherwise, I select my object and then here on angle, let's say I put 90 degrees, so it will rotate at 90 degrees. Okay. This side panel is usually for more, let's say, precise operations. Okay. And then you can go back minus 180 so it returns hopefully to what it should have, to what it once was. Last thing, if I right click on my shape, so I'm using the right part of the touchpad and I go to transform, I have some shortcuts. I can rotate it 90 degrees left or right. And then another transformation I can apply is either to flip horizontal or flip vertical. So if I flip horizontal, it mirrors it along the x-axis, and if I flip it vertically, it will mirror it along the y-axis. So let me copy that. So I have two of these. I'm going to flip vertical. So I have two mirrored objects like that. And I think that's it.